Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Royal... Someone's setting off fireworks pretty close outside my window. It's like 12:30 at night. I'm way off track already. I just so easily distracted by shiny things. Really, that's so many fireworks, wow. Anyways, welcome to Royal Nerd Gaming. I am your host, the Royal Nerd, and it's time to rank some more variants. Anyways, Namora came out this week, and she's been fun. I haven't actually played that many games with her, quite frankly. I mean, she's a strong card, better than people expected, I think, but I've been playing a bunch of different Captain America decks. They finally buffed my boy. And now all those variants of his that I have aren't collecting dust anymore. Oh, joyous day. But, this video's not about him. I made a different one about Captain America. This video's about Namora and some other variants, so let's take a look at them, shall we? So here we have Namora's base card, and the first thing you'll notice is that it's very blue forward, which makes sense. She's a water lady, like Namor. Well, he's not a water lady. He's a water man, and they're related, I'm pretty sure. Or dating? Both, maybe? I watched Cozy Snap's video, and he had some interesting things to say about that. But anyways, she's an underwater lady, and she's pictured here underwater. Hey, that's a great first step on the base card. And I really like the setting. I actually think it's kind of the star here. The bright blue background with all these fish swimming around her. If I did have one thing that stands out to me right away about this card, is that it is very busy with all the fish everywhere and the crowded ocean floor, and her outfit, which has things sticking out from everywhere. There's little teeth on her belt and the big skirt, and then she's got the spear and things in her hair, and also chains and feathers, and whoa, it's just a lot. It's not too much, I don't think, but it is a lot. There's a lot of fun aspects to this base card, and I really like all the details that have gone into the background specifically. You know how much I hate a boring, generic background, so I actually think this is a pretty strong base card, and therefore I'm gonna give it an A tier. And then we have Namora's Alberto del Lago Spotlight variant, and this one is also very blue forward. But these blues are even prettier than the base card. I feel like there's more shades of blue than shades of any other color. That probably doesn't make sense, but it just feels like there's so many blues. You know what I'm talking about? And Alberto del Lago picked all the good ones. I mean, I really love how the background looks here. It doesn't have quite as much of a gradient as the base card. It's more just this one shade of blue, like a cerulean blue maybe. We're really gonna test my limit on how many different blues I'm familiar with. And everything feels a little bit darker, but a little bit shinier. I really like how her hair is sort of this aquamarine color, and then it's got some brighter, like, cyan patches where it looks like it's illuminated. The way that Alberto del Lago does lighting, and specifically it reflecting off of the characters with their primary color, or whatever their most identifiable color is, just always looks so beautiful. I feel like in the base card, her outfit was very similar, and yet here it feels less busy. Overall, the card feels less busy. Instead of a bunch of fish, there's just a few fish swimming around. And I didn't mind all of the fish. I thought it was nice. But here, all the details just feel more streamlined, and I love that. Also, her like swimming with her arm out in this sort of superhero pose is very fun, and yeah, I think this is the one that I'm gonna do. So hang on, I feel like I don't have enough room in my butt. Yeah, my hand kind of goes off the... One sec. There we go. I think I got it. I think that's about it. Oh, I'm bent at a really weird angle for this. Oh yeah, okay, I think that's good. Whew. So Namora's Spotlight variant is gonna get an S tier. Another Alberto del Lago variant that I really like. Although, another one that I'll probably skip out on just because I don't have the keys, man. I don't have the keys to be spending on these Spotlight variants, but they've all been very pretty. And that's it for Namora, because she's another one of our new cards with only one variant. Now, this is normally the part of the video where I lead into the first of two cards that I'm going to talk about over the rest of the video, but today, we will only be looking at one other card other than Namora, and that card is Ghost Spider. And the reason we will only be looking at Ghost Spider is because Ghost Spider has so many variants. On average, I find that most cards have somewhere between like 5 to 8. She has over a dozen. I think she has like 14, and I usually try to only do 15 variants a video. So it's gonna all be Ghost Spider. So I hope you guys like Ghost Spider, because You're about to get a lot of her. Now, Ghost Spider's base card here is pretty nice. I like that she's taken a picture of herself. I think, oh my god, those fireworks. You can hear them, right? The mic's picking that up. You see what I have to work with here? Anyways, Ghost Spider. I like her base card. It's quite simple, but effective. I mean, we get a really good look at Ghost Spider. I always want to call her Gwen. Spider-Gwen. I guess her superhero name is Ghost Spider, but I don't know, I might just call her Gwen. It's easier in my brain. We get a really good look at Gwen's outfit, and I really like Spider-Gwen's superhero outfit. I mean, the black and the white contrast is really nice to look at, and then with that pop of hot pink, it's just so visually satisfying and really draws the eye. I like that she's taking a selfie of herself, and then it looks like she's posing a little bit. The way that she's kind of like tucked her head into her shoulder, it looks very much like, you know, like she's doing a little cute smile, except that we can't see that because she's wearing her mask. It's a fun little detail that gives you a little bit of an idea about Gwen's personality, and the perspective we have on the city behind her is very fun, that it's so low down, and she's so high up, everything feels very far away, and it looks like she's on top of the world, having a great time. I will say, it is suffering from that thing that the base cards do sometimes, where the background and the character feel completely separate. It looks like the city behind her is bathed in the glow of a setting sun, and she does not look like she is bathed in the glow of a setting sun. So while I like the perspective and how well she stands out, it does feel a little disconnected for me. So I'm gonna give this one a high B tier. And then we have Gwen's Pixel variant. This is pretty much a very basic default Pixel variant, I think. It has nothing that stands out as being particularly out of place or looking incorrect, but it also doesn't do anything that really draws me in or makes me love it. Something they could have done to really make this pop was make the pink on her outfit a lot brighter. It feels very washed out here. Overall, all of her colors feel kind of washed out, and I don't know why they did that. Why would you fade out those colors and put her on a background with sort of blues and grays? That's one of the benefits of the base card being so orange in the background, is that she stood out beautifully. Whereas here, she doesn't fade in too much. It's not the worst we've seen from a Pixel variant, but she doesn't pop out like I would like her to. Especially when it feels like she's falling towards us, or actually, is she supposed to be swinging on a web? Is that what that is? I think she's supposed to be swinging on a web, but it looks like she's falling face down as she's swinging. That's weird and very subtle. Like, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, the perspective is probably the most fun part. You know, looking up at the buildings going up is kind of cool, but overall this one just feels kind of dull. So I think I'm gonna give this Pixel a C tier. Now, here we have Gwen's baby variant, and Scotty Young has managed to make another baby variant that I really like. And it's because it's using such bright and vibrant colors. I mean, they're the colors that are already part of Gwen's outfit, but Scotty Young has integrated them seamlessly into the background, making this beautiful, colorful, and bright card that totally works with her color scheme. He's almost split it like 50-50 down the middle, where half of it is the sort of darker brick wall with the hot pink spray paint, and then the other half is the nice blue sky. And both of those colors match pieces of Gwen's outfit. Like the pink spray paint matches the pink that's mostly in her hood, and that's mostly on the right side, whereas the wall's on the left. But then the blue of the sky matches her blue ballet slippers and the little blue line on the side of her leg, and it's such a subtle color in her overall outfit, but it balances out the card so nicely because that's on the left side, whereas the sky's on the right side. The whole thing just feels so well composed, and it's just really pleasant to look at. I know we only just started on Gwen, but this is probably one of my favorite Ghost Spider variants, so it's gonna be the second baby variant to get an S tier. Next up, we have the first of the Gwenom variants. And you heard me right, I said the first of, because there are multiple, since this is actually something that happened in her comics. Unlike some of the other Venomized variants, which are what-ifs, this was a major plot point in the Spider-Gwen storyline, where she lost her powers and had to merge with the symbiote to get them back. So, we've got a few different variants depicting this, and of all of them, I think I like this one the least. I think my biggest problem here is that it feels very busy. It's kind of a gentle balance of making a Venomized variant that has lots of teeth and black spikes and red tendrils that are shooting out of the character all over the place without feeling
overwhelming and cramped, and we're really walking that line here, especially because of how the symbiote looks in this art style. It's very sleek, very shiny, and the contrast of it makes it a little hard to tell where parts of her end and other parts begin, especially with all of these spikes everywhere. And yeah, she stands out well enough on this background, but it is a very bland background. It's just plain brown colored debris. Plus, I feel like we're not getting the full effect of her hood mouth. I think that's how her symbiote outfit is supposed to work. Like, her hood has become teeth, and the tongue running down her chest. It's supposed to look like a big mouth about to eat you. But because of her arm in the way and this particular angle, it's hard to tell that. And I think other variants make better use of that aspect of her outfit. This is definitely a bit of a weird instance where my opinion of this variant is skewed a little bit by the existence of similar variants that I like better. So I'm just gonna give this one a middle-of-the-road ranking and put it in B tier. And here we have Gwen's 2099 variant. So not 3099, which I believe there's a whole series of 3099 variants. This isn't quite that far in the future. This is just a little bit in the future. And, I don't like it. I mean, I love Spider-Gwen's outfit. They have changed it, and I like it less now. Especially, what is this hood? Why is future fashion stupid looking? You know? What is this hologram hood doing for you? I can only think of two things that a hood does. It covers your head from, I guess, like rain or something. Is this still a functional hood, or is it actually just like a hologram projection? Either way, it can also, you know, obscure your identity a little bit. And yeah, I guess the mask does that, but this just feels redundant. It feels like they were like, oh yeah, and Spider-Gwen always wears a hood, but we want to show off that we've made the whole mask that sort of pink spiderweb pattern now. No, I liked when the pink spiderweb pattern was used sparingly throughout her outfit. This doesn't feel futuristic. I mean, what's futuristic about that? Just that? There is nothing else here that screams, aha, this is like half a century in the future. It doesn't feel cool enough to justify being set in the future at all. And at that point, it's like, why are we even doing this? The background's fine. Ooh, shiny buildings with blue lights. The future! I don't know. I really don't like the future variants in general. End of sentence. Honestly, the dumb fashion choices always just astound me with these variants, so I think I'm gonna have to give this one a D tier. Next up, we have the first of two Spider-Gwen variants, I believe, by artist Rose Besh. I'm guessing how to pronounce that, and I could be very wrong, and if I am, I'm sorry. But yeah, I think this is a really cute variant. And it's definitely more anime adjacent, I'd say. So if you like that aesthetic and how it mixes with Spider-Gwen's vibe, and I think it mixes pretty well, then you'll like this variant. This is the first one we're seeing where her mask is off, and I think there's only a couple of these, but Spider-Gwen is definitely one of those characters where she's just as recognizable as a character without the mask, but still in the spider outfit, as she is with it. Almost more so, I'd say. And I really like how she looks here. I mean, she looks very cute in this art style. Her hair flowing out from behind her hood, and her sparkly blue eyes as she plays a Nintendo Switch in the sky. It's such a well-designed variant that I don't even question the single fluffy cloud. Because clearly she's in the sky. Look, there's one cloud. Like, she's playing Zelda or something. Very appropriate for her character, and I really like the little pixelated lightning bolts to show that she's gaming. But, like, she's falling, right? She swung up into the air really high, pulled out a Nintendo Switch, powered it on, and started playing some Animal Crossing or something? She's gonna have to do something soon, I'd imagine, about the whole falling thing, right? She's very calm about it. I'm sure she's got it under control. It just feels like a weird time to start playing Mario Bros. But hey, it's a very sweet variant, and I love the pastel colors. I think they work really well, and the overall art style is just very fun. I've seen this variant in my shop a few times, and I've been tempted to pick it up, but I think there's just a few that I like a little bit better. However, if I were to get this out of like a mystery variant or something, I'd be very happy with that. So I'm gonna give it an A tier. Whoa, now this variant feels very intense and very straightforward. There's Spider-Gwen, and here she comes, you know, flying right at you in a very weird looking pose. The proportions here, I think they're fine, but because of how some parts of her are closer to the camera than other parts of her, and how her legs are all bent weird. It feels a little off the longer I look at it. Overall, there's not a lot going on here other than her just flying at the camera. So if you don't love how it looks with her flying at the camera, well, then it's not going to be your favorite variant. And I think that's the case for me. I do like the idea of this stark, kind of sparkly red background. I think that's cool and adds a very unique look to this card. I mean, you're going to notice this variant. That red is very eye-catching. But maybe it takes away from Gwen a little bit. I mean, the background draws my attention way more than she does here. I think this is a totally fine variant, and a very unique one. Maybe it's just not for me. So I think I'm gonna give this one a B tier. Okay, now here we've got the second Spider-Gwen Venomized variant, and I definitely like this one better than the first one. But not least of all because I can tell everything that's happening in it. It feels less crowded, and every part of it is a lot more visually distinct than the first one. We've also dialed back the number of spikes all over her. I feel like we can accomplish venomizing a character without absolutely covering them in spikes. It feels like we're trying too hard at that point. This feels more like it fits with Gwen's character, especially with the one red tendril, feels more focused. Because she's such an elegant character and she does have a lot of like dance-inspired movement, it totally works here that this disgusting, horrible red tendril is flowing around her so beautifully. Now, a few other things of note. Is that a dragon? What the hell? That's crazy. There's a dragon up there. I don't know what that's about. Looks cool as hell. Makes the variant even cooler. Everything's cooler when you add a dragon to it, but what's he doing there? I also really like this perspective. We've seen this in a few of the Spider-Gwen variants where she's sort of falling past all of the buildings and we see them kind of going up past her and then the pretty sky behind her. It's overall a very pretty variant, which is not something I can usually say about the Venomized variant. Usually feels like they're going for gross, oozy, goopy teeth and tongues. Here, the colors are actually quite pretty. The sort of pastel pink buildings and the beautifully bright sky behind her. And then, of course, her in her black, red, tenderly outfit. So, honestly, you'd think those would clash a little bit, but because all the colors work together so nicely, I actually love this variant. So this Venomized variant's gonna get an A tier for me, but it's still not my favorite one of the Gwen Venomized variants, so we'll get to that. But now, let's take a look at the Penny Arcade Spider-Gwen variant. And this one, it's just fun. This is just a nice, bright, fun variant. I mean, her outfit is exactly as I like to see it, and they've really nailed that hot pink color. Really draws your eye right to Gwen, and that's exactly what that color should do. That's why her outfit is so brilliantly designed to me. She's almost more throwing out webs than she is shooting them here, and it's like wrapping around her, kind of like the sort of ribbon dancing again. I really like when the variants lean into that sort of elegant dancing aesthetic that is so associated with Gwen. You can tell just by looking at this variant that she feels light on her feet, almost like she's floating in this pastel void that she's in. It almost looks like a wormhole of some sort. There's like little things getting sucked into the back there where it turns into like bright white light. Is she like in space or something, getting teleported through the Bifrost? Very unclear what's going on back there. It's kind of lacking in details, but in terms of offering a nice contrast for her, I think it does the job, especially because her colors are so stark, especially the dark parts of her outfit that almost have like purple highlights, like really deep indigo. I think that the way that they've colored that is the best we've seen yet. So I think overall, I'm also gonna give this one an A tier, but like a very high A tier. And here we have Peach Momoko's first Spider-Gwen variant. Another artist who's made multiple Spider-Gwen variants. No wonder she has so many. It's not my favorite Peach Momoko variant I've ever seen, and I usually love Peach Momoko's art style. The sort of pastel-y colors and this sort of close-up focus on the characters, whereas a lot of variants can kind of put them in some cool pose but way back there. Peach Momoko's variants always feel very personal. I love the concept, the sort of half face with mask on the phone and then she's not wearing her mask behind the phone. Kind of the best of both worlds. My problem with it is that pastel-y color that I love with every other Peach Momoko variant. I really like it when Gwen's outfit has the hot pink highlight. I think it really adds to the overall design. We're losing that here. It feels washed out. I also don't love this background. These sort of just yellow and red and black lines. Feels like she just got a curtain of spaghetti behind her. Because so many of them are these sort of like bright golden color, kind of matches her hair and takes away from that other bright colored highlight. Those are the two things that really draw you into Gwen's design. Her pink, and if her hair's out, her blonde hair. We're losing both of them in this variant. And that's super unfortunate because, again, I really like the concept. So I think I'm gonna have to give this one a B tier. But don't worry, we've got another Peach Momoko variant coming up very soon. Alright, I know you've all been waiting for it. Here it is, my favorite of the Spider-Gwen Venomized variants. And it's Art Germs. Of course it's Art Germs. I love Art Germ's variants. Don't get to thinking that just because I love Art Germ, every one of his variants that we see is going to be an S tier. They won't be. This one is, though. I love this one. Spoilers, this is an S tier. I don't love Venomized variants usually, but Art Germ has managed to make it so visceral, yet still so beautiful. I mean, the way that he has captured the sort of mouth and teeth-like nature of her hood is done better here than in either of the other variants. Plus the tongue sort of like lolling out across her suit. Gross, but very visually interesting. And I also really like that we kind of have the shadow of Venom behind her. I mean, Venom here also looks incredible. I would love just a Venom variant in Art Germ's art style. There's a Carnage variant in Art Germ's art style, I'm pretty sure, but not a Venom. Why is there no Venom? Come on! I would want to use them both together. I'm off track. I like when they use bright colors in these Venomized variants. Yeah, you think Venom, dark, scary atmosphere. But the bright blue sky not only lets her stand out so well, but it is a color that you associate with Spider-Gwen. Those ballet shoes, those little blue stripes on her, it's subtle, but that color is associated with her. Having it present in the card when it isn't present on her outfit anymore makes it so that you're like, oh, this is probably Spider-Gwen. Like if you took out the name Ghost Spider, you might even still be able to be like, this is probably Spider-Gwen. Why do I know that? It's because all the basic colors of her color scheme are here. I love this Ghost Spider variant, and this is the one I use. I know I said it already, but it's true. This one's an S tier. Alright, next up we've got Derek Chu's Spider-Gwen variant. And this is a really nice variant. I mean, Gwen looks very pretty here, and it almost feels like a photograph in this art style. The way that she's in focus, but the background behind her is kind of blurred. It helps her stand out really nicely against the city background. In terms of variants, where she's wearing her classic outfit, but not wearing her mask, this is probably my favorite one. Although, it does bring me to my one issue with this variant, and that's her expression. I mean, we've gone through the trouble of showing her without her mask, and drawing in her pretty blonde hair, flowing over her shoulders, but the expression is a little bit blank. It feels like her expression doesn't match the vibe of the card. Her pose feels dynamic and fun, and then her eyes they almost feel a little sad, if anything. I know this feels like a really small and weird nitpick, but I don't know, it just sticks out to me more in this variant than most others, so it's why this one isn't one of my personal favorites. But I still think that it's like a really strong variant otherwise, so I'm gonna give it an A tier. And yep, I am officially blocking the variants, so I'll move down here. And here we have Peach Momoko's second Spider-Gwen variant, and I like this one a lot better. The background doesn't take away from her at all this time, let's start there. It's just sort of this simple watercolor effect that makes the whole thing feel kind of mystical and magical. I mean, that's what Peach Momoko is great at. And of course, it lets Ghost Spider stand out, especially with her bright white costume and her golden yellow hair. I love how it's flowing out of her costume in this variant. Plus, we've even got a little bit of hot pink. Around her eye, that is a vibrant hot pink. And it draws your attention to the very subtle silhouette of her face beneath her mask. I mean, you can like trace out her facial features. It is beautiful and almost ghost-like. How appropriate for Ghost Spider. Now I will address the weird thing about this variant. I've put it off long enough. Why her costume milk? Why it become milk? I do not know. It's not just simply being torn, it's not like damaged. It looked liquid. Looked like milk. Why her costume milk? I do not know. Listen, you know what they say about milk. It's good for your bones. So, I'm gonna put this one in S tier. And here's Rose Besh's second Spider-Gwen variant. And wow, pink. I mean, that's a lot of pink. If you're gonna go for a solid color for the background, I guess you can't go wrong with a color that is so synonymous with the character and yet still contrasts most of their outfit so brilliantly. And unlike the other variant that had the very, like, red background, it feels like Spider-Gwen still stands out really, really well here. Like, she is so clearly the focus, especially since the background is just pink. There's nothing else going on back there. Usually I'd have a problem with that, but I just feel like it works here. Then there's a few other really, really cool details. I mean, first of all, her pose, this like backflip as she calls me a loser. She's really giving me an L as she flips upside down. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna try and replicate this pose. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I can't. The detail of the black lining around her being like more pronounced the closer a part of her is to the camera. Like the black line is the thickest around her hand, which is popping out of the card, but then is very thin all the way in the back where like her head and her hair are flowing. It adds this layer of depth that is, it feels almost unnecessary, but is such a cool effect. And it's the same art style that Rose Besch used for the last variant, so if you like that sort of anime-inspired look there, I think you'll like it just as well, if not even better here, because this pose feels cooler, more dynamic. This whole variant feels more unique, and you can still see her face, which is nice. Maybe this is actually my favorite variant, where you can see Spider-Gwen's face. It's just so cool to look at. Spider-Gwen may be giving out an L in this variant, but I think she gets a big old W. So I'm gonna give her an S tier. That was the worst thing I've ever said. God. That's a high bar, but no, that was bad. And finally, we've got the Spider-Gwen Valentine's variant. And I'm gonna be honest, this one feels like kind of a step down for me, and compared to the last few variants we've seen. I mean, it's supposed to be paired with the Miles Morales Valentine's variant. Actually, let me pull that up. Yeah, you see how they kind of like complete each other? Like these variants were sold in the same bundle, so when you put them together, it's the full picture of her shooting him with the webs and pulling him in close. And I mean, it's a cute idea, but it just feels kind of gimmicky to me. I'm not in love with this art style for these two characters. It feels flat and like there's not a lot of depth to them. I guess I'm mostly talking about Spider-Gwen's here, but yeah, for both of them. I mean, there's black in their outfits, but it feels more gray. The colors aren't very vibrant. I mean, her hot pink is really just pink. I mean, you're never going to be playing these cards side by side necessarily in-game. I guess there are decks they could work well together in, but it's not like you're going to be focused on trying to get them lined up side by side. And yeah, I don't think I like either of these variants enough independently to want to use them on their own. Their strongest feature is that they create this bigger picture, but I mean, you're not going to see that in game very regularly, so what's the point in having it? I just feel like the colors aren't especially vibrant or fun, and the pose isn't really dynamic or interesting. There's just not really anything especially special about this variant, except for the fact that it's supposed to be paired with another one. So I think with or without the pairing, I'm gonna have to give this one a C tier. And there we go. We did it. We got through Spider-Gwen's variants. All 15 of them. My goodness. I mean, I try to do 3 characters a week, but when some of them have so many variants, I gotta dedicate whole videos to them, apparently. But don't worry, next video we'll be back to 3 characters, I'm pretty sure, starting off with Sasquatch, who's coming out. So if you don't want to miss that, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you know when the next part comes out. And hopefully, I'll see you then. Thank you guys so much for watching, and farewell for now. Have a nice day, everybody.